I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night and still have begged for more. Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Tom's Hit Parade. By the way, I invite you to hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up if you like what you see, share this video with your friends, and leave me your thoughts down in the comment section. That would be super duper. So it is now time for the January installment of my playlist video. This is where I just talk about the stuff that I've listened to over the past month, or two in this case. I forewent, is that the thing, or is it foregoed? A playlist video for the month of December, just because I was busy with year-end lists and whatnot. But as you can see up here, there is just one compartment, one loosely packed compartment of records left for my vinyl listening backlog. So a little bit late, but my mission will have been accomplished with getting rid of my vinyl listening backlog, catching up on it with my playlist videos over the past year or so. Now, full confession, I did artificially accelerate the pruning of my vinyl listening backlog, but not by much, by maybe 3 or 4 records that I just looked at and had second thoughts with, and just decided to put into the trade-ins stuff. Either that, or there was, I think, 1 or 2 that I picked up on CD since I picked them up on vinyl, and before I actually listened to them. So yeah, kind of by buying them on CD, I kind of saved myself the trouble, quote unquote, of listening to them on vinyl. But anyway, yes, other than those 2 or 3, 3 or 4, 4 or 5 records, I have, gone through listening through all these records. There must have been over 100, I'm sure, records that I had just let pile up, stack up, not listened to yet, and I have accomplished that. Oh, I also am holding a few aside for a video that I have had a particular video planned for years, literally for years, and it involves 6 records that I have had in my listing backlog because I didn't want to listen to them until I was ready to do that video. So I kept putting it off and putting it off. But yes, those 6 records also are kind of not counted in this backlog. They're actually hiding up on the 3rd row. Anyway, but yes, I have kind of divided, I made sure to divide what was left of my listening backlog into 2 approximately equal stacks. So this, I believe, is 19 records for this month, and I think I have 20 up there that I will listen to. Hopefully have those all listened to by the end of February. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you what I listened to over the month of January. Kind of starting with, it's kind of become a pattern. I've wanted to vary the genres, the order of the genres that I listen to, but it seems to always end up kind of the same thing. Rock and pop last, and comedy and spoken word first. And we're going to go ahead and just keep that pattern going here. Whistle Stopping with Jonathan Winters. For those of you who don't remember the name Jonathan Winters, or don't even know the name, it might have been before you were even born. Jonathan Winters was a stand-up comedian, comedic actor, very, very, very funny guy. Robin Williams took a massive load of inspiration from Jonathan Winters, just kind of this rapid-fire stream of consciousness kind of comedy. And he made several comedy albums. I think I have 3 or 4. And this one, as you can kind of tell by the title and by the cover here, it is politically themed. So, which means a lot of the content, most of the content, is kind of had a shelf life and is kind of gone. But there are still some aspects of politics that remain timeless. Although, except for the last few years, listening to this, I kind of wish politics would go back to the simpler times, like with this. I'm trying not to get political on this channel, but you know what I'm saying. I just kind of wish that stuff would go back to simpler times. I wish politics had a lot more logic and willingness to debate in them, like they don't seem to have anymore. But anyway, funny guy, and I can tell that a lot of this was ad-libbed. Jonathan Winters ad-libbed his stuff. A lot of these skits on this are a news person interviewing Jonathan Winters as different characters. And you can tell that Jonathan Winters just ad-libs stuff because the reporter just kind of falls apart, breaks up laughing at the end of the skit, and they probably just had to call the skit short for that reason. But yeah, funny thing. If you like Jonathan Winters, if you like that kind of rapid fire comedy, stream of consciousness kind of stuff, it's pretty good, I got to say. And then I have another. This is a comedy duo that I have. I think I have all their albums, and this is the third or fourth album that I have of theirs. Hudson and Landry. They were kind of a duo, a sketch comedy duo. One of their series of sketches was the Ajax Company. For instance, the first one that I heard was Ajax Liquor Store, where a guy who had already had too much to drink called up the Ajax Liquor Store and asked him and placed an order. I guess back at the time you could have place an order and have it delivered and pay the the uh, the driver. Anyway, but there are two skits in that series here: the Ajax Pet Store and the Ajax Mortuary. And yes, the same inebriated guy calls up and asks them. Then we have Bruiser LaRue meets Count Dracula. Now, this one thing about these 60s, I think this is 60s, comedy type stuff is you wouldn't get away with some of the stuff now. It's not totally politically correct. Bruiser LaRue is a rather effeminate, very effeminate football player. So yeah, the first sketch in the Bruiser LaRue thing was Bruiser LaRue footballer. And so now they have Bruiser LaRue meets Count Dracula. So, but anyway, it's interesting. And let's see, Charlie Chin, I think is if I recall, that's kind of a play on the Charlie Chan mysteries. Probably a couple of Asian stereotypes mixed in there. And the Soul Bowl was pretty good, though. That's the opening track. They kind of have a soul music beat going on, and this reporter interviewing a football coach, and the dialogue ends up almost kind of a rap along with the beat of the music. That's very clever. See if you can find the Soul Bowl by Hudson and Landry and listen to that. I think that's the highlight of this album. But yes, lots of fun. I've had fun with all three or maybe four of the Hudson and Landry albums. Very, very fun. I've talked about the comedy stuff so long, this is going to be a 2-hour video. I'll try and speed up from now on here. Yeah, don't have much to say about this one. The Button Down Mind on TV by Bob Newhart, and this is the fourth or fifth Bob Newhart album that I have. And yes, a great comedian. What can I say? Kind of has a deadpan delivery, and you've probably, I'm sure many of you probably have heard some of Bob Newhart's 60s comedy sketches before he started his career as a TV actor. Introducing Tobacco to Civilization. That one's probably the highlight of this album. And yeah, this was his like fourth or fifth album. So, as with most artists, most comedians and stuff, the quality of the material starts to slide down a little bit at that point. But still, lots of fun. And as I said, the first track, Introducing Tobacco to Civilization, is the highlight of this album. So lots of fun. And then we have more or less the last comedy record, Pinkard and Bowden. And this is their album, I think that's called PG-13. I think that's the title of it. I cannot read the spine at all. But yes, Pinkard and Bowden are a kind of like the Blue Collar Comedy Tour before it became the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, kind of a country western redneck or hick comedy. And this one, the first album that I got of theirs was I think a later album, and it's about half stand-up comedy and half song parody. And this one is more song parody than the others. The song "Music Industry" is a parody of "Islands in the Stream," the Kenny Rogers song. And there's a song called "Elvis Was a Narc." It kind of tries to put an alternate explanation on Elvis's drug use. Oh, "Guns Made America Great." I'm pretty sure that is a satire, although I'm sure, there's no doubt that some people nowadays, let's just say satire escapes the song title "Guns Made America Great." That's basically, you get the message of that in the lyrics. It's kind of, and I really don't know the motives or the philosophies of Pinkard and Bowden. So I don't know if that was a genuine song. Something tells me it was a satire, but anyway, quick drink of water here. dry throat. Next album here. This is kind of comedy, but it is called the group is called Big Daddy, and the album is called Meanwhile Back in the States. And this is it's an interesting album. It is. Where's the track list? Oh, the track list is over here. They are the lyrics of popular songs done in the style, but changed up and done in the styles of other songs. And for instance, it's pretty much popular rock and pop songs. Like "I Want to Know What Love Is," the Chicago song. Chicago, yeah. And "Always on My Mind," the Willie Nelson song. "Susudio," the Phil Collins song. And you get the idea. But they're all done in the styles of mostly 50s and 60s songs. There's one that's done in a surf rock style, one that's done in kind of an early Beach Boys style. Well, that's kind of the same thing. And then doo-wop and early Motown. You kind of get the idea of that stuff. Very cleverly done. I have to say it's very, very cleverly done. They've got one other album, and I would like to find it at some point and pick it up. So I was suitably entertained by this one. So yeah, pretty fun and interesting album. And trying to put them all face up in the stack down there. Then we have another guy who is a very popular or a very well enjoyed artist by me, Mason Williams. This is the Mason Williams Ear Show. This is his fourth album, and yeah, lots of great songs. Some of them are instrumental, some of them have lyrics, but they're all done in a very lighthearted, breezy kind of style. Barocca Nova is kind of a bossa nova baroque mashup, as the title suggests. Very clever song. And yeah, I can't remember any of the rest of the songs by their titles, but yes, Mason Williams is very, very talented, very enjoyable. I've got several of his albums, at least 3 albums on vinyl, a few albums on CD. And there's actually one that I just recently found in the freebies bin. It was actually a CDR, a very low circulation CD of a concert that he held in 2006 in the local Eugene Springfield area, and I enjoyed it so much that I saved it for myself and have really had fun listening to it. So anyway, and now let's move on into the world music, jazz, new age kind of stuff. I got like 4 albums of that ilk. We have the wonderful Latin American songs or sound of Venezuela. Now this came from a stack of records that a former workmate of mine gave to me. There were a few that she wanted me to turn into CD, and she said the rest, go ahead and keep the rest, sell them if you want to sell them. And I sold a couple, but just ones that I wasn't interested in. But I was kind of interested in checking out some of this other stuff that I had not heard of, I hadn't heard before. So, and the stuff that she asked me to copy onto CD, I kept that stuff because it was just fun and interesting to listen to. But yeah, some examples of folk music from Venezuela. So it's fun to listen to. And there's some other ones in the same series that I might at some point pick up: Argentina, Chile, Guatemala, and Mexico. So fun stuff. Then we have new age stuff. We have Andreas Vollenweider, and this is Caverna Magica, Under the Tree in the Cave. Andreas Vollenweider is a harpist, and he just harps on about everything. Anyway, stupid joke. Well, the song titles won't really mean much of anything. It's instrumental, new age music, very, very mellow, very relaxing. Fun to listen to, nice to listen to when I'm trying to unwind and that kind of stuff. So I will be going through my records at some point. I do want to rearrange records, so you may see next time I film from this spot, you may see that these compartments are filled again. It's just I want to try and rearrange, maybe spread stuff out now that those compartments are going to be free. I might go through, get rid of some records, possibly the Andreas Vollenweider. I'm not hugely attached to them, but who knows. This one I am kind of attached to the label and the artist specifically. Pianoscapes by Michael Jones. This is on the Narada label. Narada Lotus specifically. Or actually, no, it just says Narada, so this must have been an early release before Narada established its 3 primary Imprints, Lotus, Equinox, and Mystique. It's kind of scary, the stuff that's stuck in my brain. But anyway, as you can tell by the title, this nice, very relaxing solo piano music. Really enjoy this one. This is not the only Michael Jones album that I have. I have a few more on CD. And I think I have one other, I think it's called Seascapes, that I will be listening to for next month's um, uh, playlist. And I think it is also a Michael Jones album. I might be incorrect about that. But again, nice stuff for mellowing out, for relaxing. So very, very cool stuff. Then we have slightly more upbeat instrumental-ish stuff. A jazz band called Spyro Gyra. I have three favorite contemporary, or I guess you should call it contemporary jazz, or possibly smooth jazz. Some people call it smooth jazz. I don't like that name. But yes, my three favorites are the Rippingtons, Spyro Gyra, and the Yellow Jackets. And so yes, this is one of the Spyro Gyra albums called Breakout. Lots of great songs on here. Just kind of that great 80s, upbeat, smooth, contemporary jazz stuff that I've come to really enjoy as part of my listening. So yeah. It's one of the genres that I first really got into shortly before, contemporary pop rock music with words. So, but yeah, Spyro Gyra is a great band. I highly recommend them if you have not checked them out. Then we're on to the easy listening stuff. Actually, I'll take another quick drink of water. Very dry throat this afternoon. I'm not sure why. We have the new Christy Minstrels. I have shown you a few of their albums in my playlist. I just, a customer had a new Christy Minstrels album that they wanted me to copy onto CD for them. This was months ago, and I went ahead and did that, and I kind of like the sound of them. And so next time I was at the thrift store, I found like 3 or 4 new Christy Minstrels albums, all of them in really good shape, and I just picked up a handful of them. And actually, one of them that I picked up was the one that person had me do, and if I'd known I would have picked it up, I would have gotten a much better quality recording out of the one that I picked up, because the one they asked me to copy was pretty beat up. But anyway, nice stuff. A nice small choir kind of a um, sound. They do all sorts of popular music, folk music, and other stuff. And this is kind of like kind of like the title suggests, rambling. It's kind of a album with a loose theme of traveling around the country, I guess, is basically what you would say. So yeah, nice, innocent, kind of innocuous. That's the word I'm trying to think of. Nice, harmless stuff to put on and enjoy. And then we have one of my favorite classic pop singers of all time, Johnny Mathis. And don't you love that plaid? Stylish. Yeah, the plaid jacket he's wearing is even better. Anyway, it's an album called Me and Mrs. Jones, and this was from 1973. And a couple of interesting selections on here. Summer Breeze, the Seals and Crofts song. He does a cover of that one. Soul and Inspiration, the Righteous Brothers song. And I'm sure there are a couple of other ones. I thought there was one or two other ones. You're a Lady. I can't remember if that was a better known song, or I might be confusing the title with something else. But yeah, I've really enjoyed Johnny Mathis over the years. Have lots of fun listening to his stuff. And yeah, this was a very nice album. And I kind of, when I see a Johnny Mathis album on vinyl that I don't have yet, I tend to just pick it up if it's a fairly reasonably priced one. So, do like Mr. Mathis. And then we have this is a 2-disc set, 2-record set, The World of Julie Andrews. So this is basically a compilation of her stuff, and it's a vertical gatefold, if you can see the whole thing. So yes, nice stuff here. And the records are falling out. And the track listing is right there. Lots of her great hits from stage and screen productions. I Could Have Danced All Night. Wouldn't It Be Lovely? Then By the Light of the Silvery Moon. How Long Has This Been Going On? Alexander's Ragtime Band. Who Threw the Overalls in Mistress Murphy's Chowder, the all-time classic hit. And then, so yeah, Baubles, Bengals, and Beans. Yes, I do appreciate Julie Andrews' voice. I love her voice. Very nice, classic. There's a reason she is a classic pop singer, no doubt. Then we're into the country stuff. Got a couple of country albums. We've got Glenn Campbell with his album Southern Nights. Now, I did have this one. In fact, this might have appeared in a playlist a long time ago. I had picked up, I think it was off the freebie shelf, a copy of this that had belonged to a radio station. They had taped to the front cover here. I guess they had some kind of a play log where they wrote the dates of each date that they played a song off the album or something. And otherwise the cover was in pretty bad condition as well. So when I saw this, I think this was like $3 or $4 in the recent arrivals bin at House of Records. Decided to replace that junky ass uh, specimen with this one. And yes, the title track "Southern Nights," one of his biggest hits, and he does a cover of the Beach Boys' "God Only Knows," one of my favorite songs ever. Great song. And the Neil Diamond song "Sunflower," and yeah, lots of good stuff on this album, I have to say. Not nearly the Glenn Campbell fan that I am the Willie Nelson fan, but certainly doesn't hurt to listen to some good old-fashioned country. And speaking of country-ish, we have Jerry Lee Lewis. This was the album Southern Roots, Back Home to Memphis. And this was a later album. Those of you who are not familiar with Jerry Lee Lewis's career trajectory, he made some unwise choices that caused his early rock and roll career to derail. And he went and laid low for many years and eventually came back and reacquired some fame, not nearly the fame that he had before, as a country artist. And so this is one of his country albums. And although he does a couple of pop songs, pop and rock songs, so he kind of holds on to his rock and roll roots. When a Man Loves a Woman, although that's more of a soul song than a pop and rock song. But he does that one. Hold On, I'm Coming, which is another soul classic. It's Sam and Dave, I think, did that one. And then Blueberry Hill, the Fats Domino classic. Although they just don't seem to fit right. I don't know. And it was hard to remember while I was listening to this that it was a Jerry Lee Lewis album. His voice was that much different than it was back in his early days. So, yeah, as an album, just as an album, generally, it's okay. As a Jerry Lee Lewis album, he did way better. But so, yeah, I can give you a look at the track listing there. Yeah, not bad. Not sure if I'll keep it. Anyway. And then here we have an artist that I have become quite fond of in recent months and years, Linda Ronstadt. And this is her album, Simple Dreams. Yes, you got to love Linda Ronstadt's voice. And this is one of her more popular, or at least the track listing is a little bit more packed with hits than most of her other albums. It's So Easy is the opening track. She does a great cover of that one. Or did she do that originally? I can't remember. And then we have Blue Bayou and Poor Pitiful Me, one of her big hits. And I guess that was it. The memorable songs anyway. But yes, I certainly don't get tired of listening to Linda Ronstadt, a great singer with a great voice. It's kind of too bad that she's retired and that we have gotten all the recorded music out of her that we will get. But still, lots of fun. We can enjoy what we've got, and we've got a pretty decent amount of albums from her. Then a few more to go here. Video's a little bit longer than my playlists usually are, I think. Carole King with Thoroughbred, and this one was from. Where's the date? I don't see the date anywhere. Not going to bother looking for the date, but yes, not one of her most popular albums, but still nice to hear. And Carole King is another one of those artists who just the voice feels like a comfy old sweater, just kind of like a James Taylor. And let's see, I'm trying to see if there are any good, not good, they're all good songs, but any well-known songs on here. None that I recognize anyway, but yes, very, very nice, a very enjoyable album. I really liked it. And yeah, she's another artist who I would not have any problem, slowly building a collection of her albums over the course of months and years. But yeah, and of course the album art, the photography is just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's see what's on the. Oh, there is no gatefold. It's just a sleeve. So good stuff. Then we have moving forward into the 80s. We have the Culture Club with "Waking Up with the House on Fire." This is their third album, I believe. Not quite as popular as their first two albums, and they moved a little bit more into a dance pop direction, just a little bit, not a lot. But the only hit that came off of this one was the war song. War is stupid, and people are stupid. Those lyrics seem to be more relevant now than ever. Anyway, but yeah, and there were a few other good songs on here that I as I listened to it, it's like this is a better album than I remember it being. Unfortunately, I can't quite remember the song titles off the top of my head, but yes, lots of fun. And the cover art is, of course, interesting, as the Culture Club's cover art tended to be. So, yeah, good stuff. I enjoyed that one. And then finally, the last record for today's playlist, for this month's playlist, is a soundtrack, and it's the one and only soundtrack. The soundtrack from Footloose. Yes, the classic 80s movie musical, I guess it is. Yes, so many great songs off of this. That was one thing that the 80s pretty much cannot be beat for, is the soundtrack album, Flashdance, Footloose, The Breakfast Club, Top Gun, Dirty Dancing, the list goes on. But yes, of course, the title track by, I was about to say Phil Collins, no, Kenny Loggins. And then Let's Hear It for the Boy by Denise Williams, Almost Paradise by Mike Reno and Ann Wilson, Dancing in the Sheets by Shalimar, another Kenny Loggins. You got Bonnie Tyler. Oh, Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler. Forgot about that one. So, yes. So much fun. More fun than the movie, for me anyway. I like the movie, just didn't love it. But the soundtrack album, how can you not enjoy a soundtrack album like that? So anyway, what do you think of my playlist for January? Yep, 20 albums to go. There's 20 albums up here that I will be listening to over the course of February, and wrapping up the vinyl listening backlog chapter in Backtracks or playlist. And then I will be moving on to tackling my CD listening backlog. Wish me luck. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. Be sure to like it if you liked it. And before you go, drop me some feedback in the comment section. I would love to know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon to catch my future videos, and hit my username to browse my old videos. Links to my socials and my favorite fellow YouTubers are in the description below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and remember, life's too short to be a music snob.